The team members that contributed to this project include Nicole Cross, Lee McKillican, Brittany Howard, and Daniel Shawrun. What is the development of relationships, and why is it important in a leadership context? Relationships are inevitable within the topic of leadership, in that organizations are made up of people who are required to work together for a specific outcome. Serbo Mason, Gabrassi, and Cullen Lester suggest that the lines between leaders and followers are starting to blur, and this emphasizes the importance of relationships between all members of an organization. Trust and communication have been cited as being crucial to developing positive relationships within organizations. Cosner found that principals could build collegial trust in a multitude of ways, such as team meetings and even off-site activities like book clubs. While leaders cannot impose trust on their teams, they can foster environments where relationships and trust may thrive. Cosner noted the importance of trust in organizations, stating that trust helps to promote the exchange of information. Lorraine Slater found that principals successfully used communication skills to bring about collaborative environments that enabled the creation of leadership capacities within schools. The development of relationships can be approached in different ways depending on the context of the theory being applied. Relationships between leaders and their teams are an integral part of many current leadership styles and theories. These include servant leadership, transformational leadership, the leader-member exchange theory, and participative leadership. Jeswell and Dar found that servant leadership and the trust that leaders were able to instill in their followers allowed and encouraged greater employee creativity. The leader-member exchange theory, or LMX theory, highlights the importance of relationships and their development. The leader-member exchange theory focuses on the exchange of information or communication between leaders and followers. Those who have a high leader-member exchange are often more satisfied with their job. The development of relationships is of the utmost importance to transformational leadership. Aidan Valiers states that the transformational leaders within education should be helping staff members develop and maintain a collaborative and professional school culture, fostering teacher development, and helping teachers solve their problems together more effectively. The development of relationships is seen within Valiers' points. For example, maintaining a collaborative and professional culture requires trust and communication. For team members to buy into a transformational leader's approach, relationships must be cultivated. Multiple leadership theories focus on relationships, showing the importance of relationships and team building within leadership.
Hey, it's Lee here, and I'm currently the vice principal in a secondary school in British Columbia. I'm going to run you through a real-life scenario where relationship and trust building were the primary goals. Tell me what you think. The scenario itself took place at a secondary school on Vancouver Island in June of 2014. BC teachers were in a volatile contract labor dispute with the provincial government. By June, the ongoing labor dispute, which had been going on for years, had just intensified once again, beginning what would become the longest strike in BCTF history. At the time, I was still a teacher, but in early June I had accepted an offer to become the acting vice principal at the secondary school, beginning on August 1st. So still a teacher, the expectation was that I walk the picket line with my colleagues. Although this was one of the most awkward and difficult things I've ever done in my professional career in education, I looked at the strike time as an opportunity to build some trust and develop some relationships with colleagues that had been missing in our school in previous years. At the time, most teachers, and I'll include myself in this, felt undervalued and underappreciated as professionals. While walking on the picket line with my colleagues, I saw this as an opportunity to have some deep, meaningful conversations about what our school community was missing. What I heard from my colleagues was both enlightening and alarming. During my time on the line, several things became quite evident. Number one, my colleagues, my future staff members, lacked trust in leadership. Period. Number two, even the most pleasant teachers were unhappy with their current lot in life. Number three, building a healthy team at Highland Secondary was going to take time and would require patience and effort. And number four, if transformational leadership was to occur at our school, some serious work would need to take place at the foundational grassroots level to build trust and develop relationships between staff and school leaders. Analysis of Scenario 1. Upon reflection of the scenario, I can look back at the steps taken during the strike year and confidently say that we as a school community have come a long way in the last 44 months. Although I wouldn't suggest that walking the picket line is the best way to develop relationships and build trust, I will say that taking the time to listen to colleagues has proven to be an important first step in forging bonds. building trust, and developing relationships with colleagues. After working in the school as a teacher for 6 years, I had developed a pretty good sense of what the school needed. Teachers needed to be heard and feel supported, while students simply needed to have their teachers in a good frame of mind. I had many ideas as to what type of capacity building needed to be done with their teachers, but I was also aware that not many were in the right mindset to build capacity. As Cosner suggests in her work, Building Organizational Capacity Through Trust in 2009, the cultivation of collegial trust is one of the key components for capacity building work within an organization. In other words, without building the trust and the relationships first, most great ideas will fall flat and not meet their true potential. I believe taking the time to develop relationships and build trust is the most effective way to develop leadership capacity within an organization. Successful transformational leadership and distributed leadership is built on the foundation of a healthy, trusting relationship with all the members of the team.
The scenario took place at the Canadian Forces Training and Development Center and included many different military members from across the country. Each of the members were brought in because they were considered to be subject matter experts in their occupation and were subjected to participate in courseware development for a new course. All of the members were not familiar with each other and did not have any previous experience in courseware development. As the curriculum and course designer, it was my job to lead the team in order to complete the task of developing standards, lessons, and assessments. There were time restraints both in the length of the course and the time allotted to build the courseware. In order to provide the end document, I had to teach the members how to design the lessons and assessments as well as provide guidance on the system's approach to training. The process can seem very daunting and has a lot of obstacles to overcome. As the leader, I went into the project with a clear understanding of the requirements. I used communication to inform the group on the expectations and tasks involved in the project. I broke down the major steps into more manageable chunks. The first step was to design course objectives and develop a schedule. After the schedule was completed, the work was divided to each team member. Each member designed his or her lessons. The lessons were then reviewed and the group developed the assessment together. During the early stages of the project, members were quiet and reserved and did not seem to open up easy. Also, there was not instant chemistry between the group members. In the beginning, I opened up the floor to allow members to provide their perspective, and I asked questions in order to allow members to demonstrate their passion for their occupation. I also asked what their main goal was for the project. This seemed to open up the lines of communication. Throughout the process, I would talk to members one-on-one. This helped for me to get to know the members. Also, military rank was not fully observed, as I wanted the group to be on an even playing field. It was discussed how each of us would bring valuable aspects to the team. After reflecting upon this scenario, building relationships with the subject matter experts was vitally important. According to Anderson, being able to establish relationships opens the doorways for better situations. When building relationships, there needs to be a foundation that includes honesty and trust. Communication is an important element of relationship building. Communication transcends every boundary and every organization, regardless of the goals or ideals of any organization. Communication, in fact, has farther reaches into a person's being. As a leader of the group, I believe I communicated effectively because I provided all of the details of the project, taught the members the process, and allowed the members to provide their own input. Also, I value the members' opinions and ideas. As the leader of the group, I relied on the expertise of the group members. I took the time to understand their abilities by building personal relationships. This allowed me to task the members in areas where they had strengths. I distributed the work and gave all the members of the group ownership of the project. Running the project where all members play important roles created a community of practice. During the project, I delegated some of the tasks to the members of the group using a distributed leadership model. In summary, relationship building is a very useful leadership strategy. It is a more human approach to leadership as it focuses on the team members and allows for the leader to understand their team members. Leaders need to have strong communication skills, be honest, and have integrity. Building relationships creates buy-in from the team members. Also, it allows for communication to be a two-way street. People want to be valued. Using a relationship building approach to leaders gives people the sense of belonging. This approach is very useful in a school environment as well as in the corporate world.
In reflecting on the course readings and this assignment, our team has learned more about leadership. Specifically, we've learned that positive relationships and environments can have a meaningful impact on leaders, followers, and task completion. As Schaefer mentions in the 2015 article titled On Becoming a Leader, Building Relationships and Creating Communities, leaders need to be honest, have integrity, and provide the right level of support when building relationships. According to Coos and Posner, leadership is a relationship founded on trust and confidence. Our team has learned that effectively leading a group of individuals requires building an environment centered on respect. Leaders should be able to understand the strengths of their people and should ensure that each member feels as though they are contributing to the greater good. In working through this assignment and the course readings, we have been able to learn lessons and reflect on how we can use our new understanding in the workplace to make a difference within our context. One lesson learned is about the importance of having a clear direction and focus. Our team did this by forming together early based on mutual desire to work on this topic. Then we decided to build a skeleton so we all knew what the general flow and goal would be. We also broke the assignment into tasks and assigned ourselves roles. With this, each individual was able to take accountability for a particular section and have a clear focus. In their 2012 article titled Building a Learning Community, A Tale of Two Schools, Minch and Lieberman discussed the importance of setting norms amongst a team. One of the suggested norms is purposeful meetings with structure, so that it is focused and productive. In my own work, I have been focusing on redirecting education assistants who go off on tangents about teachers, parents, or students. It was a real problem in the past. Working through this course has helped provide me with strategies for dealing with this. Now I will make sure to have a clearly laid out agenda for our meetings and make sure that I redirect inappropriate conversations and that I model the type of communication and behavior that I expect. Together, this has greatly improved the direction and focus of our conversations so that our time is spent being productive and solutions focused. Another lesson that we learned is about the importance of being open and honest with individuals and with the team. This will allow for a positive form of communication where each member can both be heard and listen to all of the team members. Communication can allow for all members to feel valued and can lead to innovation. A positive communication form can be applied in the workplace by creating an equal forum for all team members and encouraging individuals to speak and participate. Also, modeling positive communication methods will allow for the group to understand the expectations. The third lesson learned in working through this group assignment is about the meaning and importance of teamwork. According to Hill in his 2013 article titled Team Leadership, a team is defined as a group of people who are interdependent as they coordinate to meet a shared goal. Daniel, Nicole, Lee, and myself were interdependent as we relied on each other for support and clarification throughout this project. Our team had many strengths in working together. In anticipation for this project, we were able to form together quickly based on mutual interest of the topic. From there, we found a platform to connect on, so we were able to decide very early on how we would communicate with each other. Because of that, we were able to start quickly on the assignment by splitting it into parts and tasks. Furthermore, we created a skeleton on Google Docs to bring focus and clarify the plan for our project. Another strength for us is that we were able to communicate with respect and consideration. Another strength of ours was regular informal check-ins. The times when we scheduled whole team meetings were valuable for creating a plan for moving forward, but the informal check-ins over Facebook Messenger were helpful in asking for clarification on things as they came up and for sharing our ideas and our roadblocks. We were able to read and respond at our own rate, yet still feel directly connected. Another strength of our team is that we understood early on that we're all bringing different experiences to the table. Lastly, I believe we were able to communicate and coordinate effectively because there was no alpha leader. Without directly deciding that we would use distributed leadership, we just did. At different times throughout this assignment, we showed varying levels of leadership, management, and initiative. Our team experienced three main challenges. The first challenge was the fact that we are strangers. We have had no face-to-face contact, so it is challenging to suddenly be working together on a shared project. We don't know each other's strengths and weaknesses or level of comfort with certain tasks. To overcome this, I reread my team members' discussion posts on Blackboard to learn more about them and the context they're working in. At the team level, I noticed that we took ownership over tasks that we knew were strengths of ours. Doing this allowed us to remain strong as a team without ever needing to identify our weaknesses or feel like we were made responsible for a task that we didn't feel competent in. In Hill's 2013 article titled Team Leadership, he mentions the importance of satisfying individuals' needs in order to help with team development. The way we navigated this challenge, which was to highlight and work in favor of our strengths and fill in gaps without needing to identify our weaknesses, actually allowed us to prevent our weaknesses from impacting the team's productivity. Hill's discussion about the need satisfaction is linked to this because feeling competent is a need we all have as humans. When we were able to take ownership of tasks that we felt competent in, it benefited the entire team. A second challenge we faced was finding time for us all to connect, since we are geographically separated, in different time zones, and have different work demands that affect our availability. Having infrequent opportunities to connect can be damaging for a team because we feel like we are working in isolation. Again, we handled this potential challenge by being preventative. Rather than rely only on formal whole team meetings, we created a Facebook Messenger group chat early on where the invitation to communicate was free and open, and each member had the flexibility to read and respond when they were available. Also, our team's strength of being understanding about each other's various life demands helped us to overcome this challenge. In his article, Hill talked about how all members are able to collectively engage in the information search and structure stage. A positive difference made in using the group chat forum is that it enhanced our distributed leadership model. When a member asked a question or was seeking feedback, any available member was able to respond. As we progressed through the assignment, our needs changed, and it was important for us to all share the role of team manager. The third challenge we faced happened after we each began working on our own section of the assignment. We started this project with a lot of momentum, but as time went by, the momentum seemed to peter off and the communication dwindled. Unlike with our other two challenges, we weren't able to proactively prevent this from happening or from getting worse because it wasn't necessarily anticipated. In his article, Hill talks about how virtual teams require 50% more time investment than non-virtual teams. In order to navigate this challenge, it was important to monitor the situation and decide when to intervene. There needed to be a balance between understanding that we all work at our own pace and also holding ourselves accountable to our team. Since we used a shared leadership model, this challenge was navigated by each individual leader being transparent, honest, and open.
Relationships are inevitable within the topic of leadership, in that organizations are made up of people who are required to work together for a specific outcome. Building relationships leads to building trust, fostering a positive culture, allowing for collaboration, correlates to flexible relationships, connects a team, teams function as a cohesive unit, and are encouraged to communicate positively. In summary, it is a worthwhile investment to develop relationships and build trust, in that it is the most effective way to develop leadership capacity within an organization.